Good morning, students. In last class, we have studying the mode of nutrition. So here, heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition means if the organisms which cannot prepare their own food materials, but they depends on other organisms as a food materials. So such type are called as heterotrophic organisms, or hetero means different. Trophic means nutrition, having a different mode of nutrition is presenting. So such type of organisms are called as the heterotrophic organisms. So here all animals are heterotrophic animals only. So here based on their mode of nutrition, we have classified various types of the organisms which have classified. So what are that? Now we will discuss. So here coming to the based on the mode of nutrition, based on mode of nutrition or mode of obtaining food materials, we are classified into different types. First one is the herbivorous organisms, herbivores. Second one is carnivores. Third one is the omnivores. And fourth one is the saprophytes. And fifth one is the parasites. And the sixth one is fruitivorous. And the seventh one is the sanguivorous. So these are the various types of a mode of nutrition are presenting. So such type are called as the herbivorous. So here coming to the first one, the herbivorous. If the organisms, that means they take only if organism takes only plant food materials. Only a plant food materials are called as herbivores. So here it taken place only the plant materials. Example we can taken place as cow, a buffalo, sheep, goat. So here these are the various types of the grasshoppers. So these are the various types of the organisms which are depends on only a plant materials. So such type are called them as the herbivorous. Next, second one. If seen the second one, if the organisms are taken place only animal food materials, the organisms which take only animal food materials, so such type are called as the carnivores. So we can call them as that means the organism only taken place a flesh or a meat. If they taken place only a flesh or a meat, only that is animal food materials are taken place, then we can call them as the carnivore. So we can use the animals which eat flesh or a meat, then such type of organisms are called as the carnivorous. Example we taken place as the lion, the tiger, the dog, the cat. So here etc. These are the various types of organisms which can taken place. An example of these like lion, tiger, dog, cat. These are they take only animal food materials only. So such type of organisms are called as the carnivorous. Next, here, if you see in here, omnivorous. Omnivorous means the organisms which take both the plant and animal food materials. The plant and animal food materials. So such type of organisms are called them as the omnivorous. Omni means both. That means vorous means taking food material. So the organisms which take both food material, that is a plant as well as the animal food material, then such type of organisms are called as the omnivorous. An example here we taken place as a cockroach and human beings. So you can take in place an example of the omnivorous. Next, saprophytes, the organisms which depends on a dead and decay materials, dead and decaying of food materials, materials. So such type of, that means the organisms which are depending on dead and decaying food materials, then such type of organisms are called as the saprophytes. Example we can take in place a bacteria and a fungi. Here we can take where they depends on a dead and a decaying organic matters they are presenting. So such type of organisms are called as the saprophytes, or otherwise we can use here these them as decomposers also. Why they decompose means they decompose, that means they decompose the complex organic substances into a simple inorganic substances. That means if any plants and animals are died, that is they act upon the food materials and they decompose the complex organism, that means complex body is converted into a simple inorganic component, then such type of organisms are called as saprophytes, or otherwise we can call them as decomposers. So here decomposers are bacteria and the fungus which are present, and here next coming to the parasites. What are parasites? Here parasites means the organisms which depends on host organism for the food materials, host organism for food materials, then such type of organisms are called as the parasites. Parasites means they depends on other organism, that means on the host organism. Here what are host means the organism. What are host? Host means the organism which provides food materials. So the what is the host means the organism which provides food materials, we can call them as a host. Example, best example we can take in place in our family only, like a parents and ourselves, that means the parents and the offsprings are the young ones which are present in a family. Here parents are called as host organisms, where they provide food materials for the that is for the parasites or the young ones. So here what are the essential needs which are taken place that parents will provide to the young ones. So here the host organism we can take in place as the organisms which provides food materials for the parasites. They are called as the host organism. Here parasites means the organism which take food material from the host, which depends on the host organism for the food materials. So they are called them as parasites. Example in our family, here the parents and young ones, if it takes place, the parents are the host organisms and the young ones are the parasites. Here they provide food materials for the young ones, so we can call them as the host organisms. And the parasites which take food material from the host organism, where they take food material from the host, they are called as the parasites. So here example we can take in place. Here the parasites, if you see in here parasites, there are two type of parasites are taken place. There are two types of parasites are taken place. One we can call them as so here parasites. Now so here parasites are classified into two types. One is called as an ectoparasites and second one is an endoparasites. Ectoparasites and an endoparasite. So here ectoparasites means the organisms which are present on the host organism and they take food materials whenever they are required. So such type are called as the host organism. That means they take the food materials from the host whenever they required, and after completing of the food materials they leave off the host organism. Then such type of organisms are called as an ectoparasites. Example we can take in place as a leech on the cattle and also the head louse on the humans. That means leech, they take the blood of the cattle, they suck the blood of the cattle and they leave off. So such type whenever they require, that means whenever they require they attach the leech or attach to the hole, that is the cattle, and they suck the blood. Likewise in humans, the head louse, here they take food material from our head. In our head will having small organisms are present, they are called head louses. That head louse will take food material from the head of our body. They take whenever they require food, they take from our body, they are taken place. So such type of organisms are parasites. We can call them as an ectoparasites. And second one, the endoparasites. Here endoparasite means the organisms which are present inside the host organism. That means they are present inside the intestine of the host organism and they take the food materials from the host organism up to the death of the host organism. They take the food materials. Then such type of organisms are parasites. We can call them as the endoparasites. Endo means inside. So the parasites which are present inside the host organism, then such type are called as an endoparasites. So here due to these endoparasites, here what happens means here these are present inside the host organism. Example, we can take into place a E. coli bacterial cells in a human digestion. That means in human digestion, in intestine, in human intestine, here these are presenting, they are called as E. coli bacterial cells are present. They take the food materials from the intestine of our intestine, and up to that when that means up to at what time they take them means up to the death of the host organism. That means they continuously they take the food material from the intestine of the humans up to the death of the host organism. When host organism is died, then the parasites also will be dies. Though such type of parasites are called as an endoparasites. Next, coming to the sixth one, fruitivorous. Fruitivorous means if the organisms which depends on the fruits for their food material, that means they take fruits as food materials. So such type of organisms are called as fruitivores. And also here we can call as and these are called example for the fruitivorous: mangoes, birds, and squirrels. We can take in place as an example for the fruitivores. Next, coming to the sanguivorous. So next, coming to the sanguivorous. So here sanguivorous. What are sanguivorous means? The organisms which take food material which depends on the organisms which take food materials in the form of a blade. Sangui means blade. That means the organisms which take a blade as a food materials. So such type of organisms are called as the sanguivorous. Example, we can take in place as the leech. Leech will take the blade of the cattle. So here it is having a cattle, it is containing, that means it takes the food material, that means the food as a blade. That means organisms which take a blade as a food materials, then such type of organisms are called as the sanguivorous. Example, we can take in place as a leech. I means the leech is one type of an ectoparasites where they takes the blood of the cattle. So your blood of the cattle as a food materials. So we can call them as a sanguivorous organisms. And here next coming to this. So here in this leech will consist of an anticoagulant substance is presenting in a leech. It consists of an anticoagulant substance. That anticoagulant substance is called as the hyaridine. So here we'll having an anticoagulant substance is presenting. That anticoagulant substance, what is the function of this anticoagulant substance means? What are the blood sucked by the leech from the cattle? They suck the blood from the leech. What is the leech sucked the blood from the cattle? That will not be clotted. That means when he taken place, when blood comes outside, within a fraction of seconds, that blood is clotted will be taken place. So here, due to the presence of the hydrogen substance, that is an anticoagulant substance, here the blood will not be clotted. So that what happens, that sucked blood from the cattle, what is the sucked blood, that will be used as a food materials for the leech, due to the presence of an anticoagulant substance. That anticoagulant substance we can call them as the hydrogen. So due to this presence of this anticoagulant hydrogen, here the leeches are classified a separate class under called as the hydrogen. That is later in coming to the phylums. In arthropodons, when you are going to study of arthropodons, we will discuss detailedly in this topic. That is, these are due to the presence of hydrogen. Here, these are classified a separate phylum called as the hydrogen. So this is an important character where that is present in a leech. Why means, what is the blade that is sucked by the leech? Within fraction of seconds it is clotted. When clotted, it is not useful for the food materials. So that what happens, it containing, they secretes an anticoagulant substance. That anticoagulant substance is called as the hydrogen, which prevents the clotting of the blood in the leech, what is the blood sucked by them. So that blood is utilized for their food materials, where it is not be clotted due to the presence of a substance, that is hydrogenase. And also here another is there carbophagous organisms. Coprophagous organisms. Here, what are carbophagous organisms means? The organisms which take which take food materials, which take their own fecal matters, fecus, F-E-C-E-S, own fecus as the food materials, are called as the caprophagous organisms. Example, we can take in place here a rabbit. We can call them as a caprophagous organisms. Why means, they take their own fecus as the food materials. Then such type of organisms are called as the caprophagous organisms. Example, we can take in place as a rabbit. So these are the various types of the organisms which are presenting, which they takes the food materials with the health. That means their mode of nutrition. So that here all animals are called as a heterotrophic organisms. Why means, they having a different type of a mode of nutrition is presenting, so that they cannot prepare. Why means, here the plastids are absent. Along with the absence of the plastids and the chlorophyll pigments, they cannot prepare their own food materials, but they depends on other organisms as a food materials. So that we can call them as a heterotrophic organisms, where will having a different mode of nutrition are presenting. So here all animals are a heterotrophic organisms. Next, coming to this, here there are other characters are there. What are that? We will discuss now. So next, coming to the next one, the locomotion. Here locomotion means a movement of organism from one place to the movement of organism. The movement of organism movement of organism from one place to the and another place, one place to the and another place, then we can call them as the locomotion. So here in animals, all animals are locomotion is, that means movement is taken place, or otherwise we can use the word as a motile also. These are motile organisms. Motile means which can move from one place to the another place. So such type of organisms are called as the motile organisms or locomotion. So here we'll show a different type of locomotions. And also here, for example, if you take in place amoeboid movement or otherwise the flagellary movement. Here example we can take in place an amoeboid movement, flagellary movement, or otherwise will shows that a bipedal locomotion, or locomotion, or sometimes here in birds will shows that the flying, will having the habit of the flying. So here the various organisms, the limbs, for example, if you take fishes, will having limbs are presenting with the help of limbs, the movement is taken place from one place to the another place. So here various types of organisms will having the various type of locomotions are taken place. So here the movement is taken place. That means here the all organisms are movement, but sometimes if there some organisms are the sessile organisms are sedentary. Some organisms in adults, these are sessile, or otherwise we can use a sedentary. Sedentary means they are fixed at one position. If the organisms fixed at one place, then such type of organisms are called as sessile or sedimentary. But in larval stages, these are the motile in nature. That means at one stage they are a motile in nature. That means at one stage these are a motile in nature, either in larval stages or in the adult stages. Some organisms in adults, they are fixed at one position. So such condition we can call them as sessile, or we can use the word as sedentary. Sedentary means they are fixed at one position, like plants, how they fixed at one position. Here animals also fixed at one position, but their larval forms, here if they shows, but the larval forms will shows a motile in nature. So at one of these stages they may be a motile in nature, either in larval stages or in adult stages. These are a motile in nature, so that here all animals will shows that the that is moment of locomotion. Here will shows that the locomotion is taken place where the movement from one place to the another places. So it is also one of the silent feature which takes place in the animals. And also we have discussed that is sensory neuromotors, where here it shows that the response to the stimuli. That means here response, that means all organisms will show a response to the stimulus, but in some organisms like lower forms in sponges, here the sponges does not having no neural system, no neural system is absenting, but in other organisms here will having the neural systems are developed. So here will shows response to the stimulus, will shows a response to the stimuli. So due to the response to stimuli here, the sense organs are presenting. The sense organs are helpful for knowing the sense of the substances which are present around the organisms, around the environment, and also the nervous system will give the response to the stimuli when they touch or when any pain or any taken place here. They shows a stimulus should taken place due to the nervous system, where that will be shows by the nervous system which is present in the central nervous system, that is a brain as well as the spinal cords. So these brain and spinal cords will show a response to the stimulus in all organisms. It is also one of the characteristic feature which is taken place in the animals. Next, coming to the reproduction. So here coming to the next one, that is reproduction. So here reproduction means the producing of young ones of their same kind. So here two words are there. Re means again. Re means again. Production means producing. So what we are producing means the same kind of species. That means producing of young ones of their same kind. Then we can call this as an reproduction. Re means again. Here what again they are producing? They are producing the same type of species are producing, then such type of organisms, such type of process we can call as a reproduction. It is one of the physiological process. It is a physiological process where they can able to produce young ones of their own kind. Then such type of process we can call as a reproduction. It is a physiological. It is a physiological process. It is a physiological process in which producing of young ones. Producing of young ones of the producing of young ones of their own kind. A kind. It is very important. A kind is called as a reproduction. So here we cannot say, that means the reproduction sometimes will say as producing of young ones. Here young ones means which type of young ones? Here the cats cannot able to produce the dogs. The dogs cannot produce the cats, or the tigers cannot able to produce lions, and elephants cannot produce the tigers. So here we cannot use it as a reproduction. Producing of young ones we cannot say as a reproduction. That means here producing of young ones means cat produce dogs only. So it is a type of a reproduction only. So you can dogs can produce cats, they cannot produce. Why means here the same type of species. It is very important. Here they produce the same type of species are their own kind. That means their own kind, the same type of the species or own kind of species are producing. Then only we can say as a reproduction. Here two words. Re means again, production means producing. Again producing. What we are producing again? The same type of species are producing. Then such type of process where it is a physiological process which can produce the same type of species, then we can call that as a reproduction. Here reproduction, that is cats will produce cats. The dogs will produce dogs, human beings will produce humans, but not any other organisms. That means same type of species only will produce. That means the producing of again of their same kind of species are producing, then only we can call that as a reproduction. So here reproduction, it is classified. It is classified into two types. Classified into two types. It is classified into two types. So what are the two types means? First one we can say as an asexual reproduction. We can call that as an asexual reproduction, and second one we can call it as the sexual reproduction. The first one is asexual reproduction, and the second one is the sexual reproduction. So here asexual, A means absenting, sexual means sexual characters. Here without gametes. Here without gametes. Without gametes, if they can able to produce young ones, then such type of process we can call as an asexual reproduction. That means here gametes. Here the gametes are absent. What are gametes means? Here we can use the word as gametes. What are gametes? What are gametes? What are gametes means? These are the specialized. These are the specialized sex cells. Sex cells present in organism. Then we can call them as gametes. These are the specialized sex cells. These are the specialized sex. These are the specialized sex cells. These are the specialized sex cells which are present in organism, where these sex cells are produced by the these sex cells are produced by the gonads. These are produced, that means gametes are produced by the gonads. What are gonads means? These are the specialized sex organs. These are the specialized sex organs which are present in the organism. Where example in males we can call as a testes. Here male testes, a female the ovaries. Ovary. So here the testis will produce the sperms, and ovary will produce ova or the egg. So here sperm and egg are called as the gametes. So without gametes, if they can able to produce the young ones, then such type of process we can call as an asexual reproduction. Example we can take in place in lower organisms like protozoans. Here like protozoans, coelentrates. Here these are the organisms where here without gametes, if they can able to produce young ones, then such type of process we can call as an asexual reproduction. And second one, if seen the second one, here the second one is the sexual reproduction. Sexual means in the presence of gametes, in the presence of gametes, if they can produce young ones are called as the sexual. Sexual means gametes. Here gametes are presenting. What gametes means? The gonads produce the gametes. So here what are gonads means specialized sex organs. These sex organs will produce the sex cells. These sex cells are helpful for the fusion of when the male and female gametes are fused. Here they can able to produce and young ones is producing. So this type of process we can call as the sexual reproduction. So here will shows that in higher organisms, from here higher means here it shows that from Annelida, from the phylum Annelida to the chordates or mammalians, here it shows that the sexual reproduction will be taken place in all organisms, in animals. That is example we can taken place from Annelida to chordates, or Annelida to the chordates or mammals, to mammals. Here it shows that a different mode of the sexual reproduction will be taken place, where here fusion of gametes are taken place. So such type of gametes are called as such type of process, where here if the organisms can produce in the presence of gametes, if they produce, we can call as a sexual reproduction. In the absence of gametes, if they can produce, we can call them as an asexual reproduction. And here in a sexual reproduction, how it is taken place, now we'll discuss. So in sexual reproduction, in sexual reproduction, the organisms are classified based on the presence of the gametes. These are classified into two types based on the presence of the gametes. Based on the presence of the gametes, here the organisms are classified into two types. One is hermaphrodites, hermaphrodite organisms, and second one is the unisexual organisms, or hermaphrodite organisms and the dioecious organisms. Dioecious organisms, hermaphrodites, are otherwise here we can use as monoecious organisms. So here what are these monoecious organisms or hermaphrodites? What are hermaphrodites means? If the organism contains both male and female gametes, both male and female gametes within the gamete, both male and female gametes are present in the same organism, then such type of organisms are called as the hermaphrodite organisms, or otherwise we can call them as the bisexual. We can use the word as the bisexual organisms, or otherwise we can call them as the bisexual organisms. That means bi means two, sexual means two gametes are presenting within the same organisms. If the organism containing the male and female gametes are presenting within the same organism, then we can call them as the hermaphrodites, or otherwise we can call them as bisexual organisms, or otherwise we can call as a monoecious. Mono means single, Echious means organs, gametes. Here gametes, the male and female gametes are presenting within the same organism or single organism will containing the male and female are presenting, gametes are presenting, then we can use the word as the monoecious and organisms. We can call them as the monoecious organisms. Example, we can take place as the earthworms, earthworm and cockroaches, where here having both male and female are presenting within the same organisms are presenting, then we can call them as the hermaphrodites, or otherwise you can call them as these bisexual organisms or monoecious organisms. Next, second one, dioecious organisms, or otherwise we can use here unisexual organisms. Unisexual organisms. That means if the organism, uni means single, if the organism, if organism contains either male or female, either male or female or gametes, either male or female gametes are called as, if the organism containing either male or female gametes is called as the monoecious organisms, or otherwise are called as dioecious. Di means two, echious means gametes. That means if they are having two different gametes are presenting, that is male and female gametes are separately they are presenting, then such type of organisms are called as the dioecious organisms, or otherwise we can call as unisexual. Uni means a single, sex, only one sex organ gametes. That means only if the organism containing only one sex gametes are presenting, then we can call them as a unisexual and organisms. So here in unisexual organisms, unisexual organisms will shows that the sexual dimorphism, will shows that the sexual dimorphism, will shows that the sexual dimorphism, will shows the unisexual organisms will shows that the sexual dimorphism will be shown. So what is this the sexual dimorphism? Here what is this a sexual dimorphism? That is here sexual dimorphism. What is the sexual dimorphism? That will be discussed in the next classes.